Hey, what's going on, guys? Another video for today. 1:12 p.m. on 1/15/2017. Sunday. Wanted to talk about Jay Essex again. Very, very interesting because I posted that first video, like you know. And also, to all of the videos and the links that I'm going to be talking about, I'll put everything in the description box below. Okay. Did a video on Jay Essex, and he actually did a video and mentioned my video. And he made a point, or one of the things he said was, is that I didn't mention Anne in the video. Okay. Which is true. And there was a definite, real simple reason for that. So let me just rewind, and I'm actually glad he brought this up because I need to clarify a few things at the end of this video that are extremely important to define the crank up even further. Okay, so let's rewind. I did the crank up with Anne and Jay. Anne did the crank up. Jay supervised, and I had conversations with both of them prior to and after the crank up. Okay, I didn't mention Anne in the initial first video because Anne, at the time of doing the video, was not represented, or her photo and contact information was not on Jay's website, which was thespiritualfoundation.com. So I didn't want to talk about Anne and then people go to thespiritualfoundation.com and get confused because Anne wasn't on the site. So it's actually very simple is why I didn't include her. And I always like to do simple, accurate, reliable videos that get right to the point, and I don't have a lot of extra verbiage, vocabulary, and unnecessary garble with what I'm talking about. Because a lot of people do that on YouTube, and they're very specific about not doing that. So, now that Jay has brought it up, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. Because it, again, like I said, I was born and raised in a metaphysical family, been around it my whole life. I've never heard or seen of anything like a crank up, and Anne was fantastic. She is very strong, she's very powerful, and for instance, as she was doing the crank up, and she is not physically, but with her energy stream, is going in and rearranging things in my brain. As she is calling out the different areas of my brain that she's going to go in and work on, okay, like she'll say pineal. After she says that and she starts to send her energy out, you can hear the oscillation of the energy over the speakers on the computer. It's like a whoa, 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 whoa type sound. Okay, then she stops with producing her energy, the noise stops, then she says, okay, hypothalamus. And then she cranks up her energy, puts it into me over the computer, and there we go again with the oscillations over the speakers, hearing this sound of whoa, 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 something akin to that. And at the same time I'm hearing the sound increase, I'm feeling it happen in my brain. Very powerful, very unique. Again, I've never seen anything like that or this. And again, like I said in the last video, as each day goes on, I feel more complete, more in tune, more intuitive, and my brain is sharper and clearer with each passing day. And my metaphysical abilities are going through the roof. And I want to make an example of this here real quick. And this is why I'm glad that Jay brought up the point that I didn't include Anne, because now I can talk about the crank up a little bit more. It's like a little secondary video here, and secondary case in points. Anyhow, I've got what's called a goddess guidance oracle cards, or tarot cards. They were actually given to me, this was back in like 2008. And by the way, the image that's at the front of this video, that is the card that I'm going to talk about right now. Okay, these have been sitting, I have two of these identical decks. They were given to me. I've never touched them. I've never opened them. They've been sitting on my dresser literally for 8 years. An absorbent amount of time. I've never touched them. Something tells me a couple of days ago, hey, go in there, grab that deck and look at it. And I almost didn't do it, and I kept walking by. Hey, go in there and look at it. I mean, and it was really pushing. I could feel it almost taking a finger and pointing at me or pushing on me in the back of my neck. And I said, okay. And this is me talking to myself. So I open up the deck, open up the box, first card up, Deanna. Okay. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Jay has one of his associates who does consults and crank-ups, and her name is Deanna. Now, she has dark hair. The card that I pulled is a girl, Deanna, dark hair. I said, wow, okay, well, I guess Deanna's saying hello or saying something. I don't know any other Deanna. Okay, so I just put the thought in the back of my head. 2 days later, Jay comes on, does a video, and he says, oh, and by the way, I have to congratulate someone on their birthday today. It's Deanna's mother's birthday. And I melted. When I heard that, I went, oh my goodness. I couldn't believe it, but I was believing it, because that's the kind of synergy that you start feeling, and feeling it even more after the crank up. You become, from my interpretation, how I feel is that I'm becoming more of the energy field of the universe, okay? There's a field, an energy field that binds everything together and moves through everything in the universe. Star Wars talks about this. The Force, okay. It might be not the best example, but everybody knows Star Wars. This is what it is. So as I continue to evolve under the parameter of the crank up, I'm becoming, I'm being absorbed, or I'm being more put in place with the field. So I'm becoming more metaphysical and more intuitive. And this is a fine example. I feel that I was telling myself, hey, go in there and pick up that card, because there's going to be something significant in the next couple of days that's going to verify why you're telling yourself to pick up the card, and why Deanna was the first card at the top of the deck. And I've got 2 decks, okay? 2 identical decks. It didn't say pick the one on the right. I was telling myself pick the one on the left. Sure enough, there's Deanna. Okay, and then Jay talks about it 2 days later. These are the kinds of things that start to happen. They're more than just synergies. It's an evolution where you begin to become more in tune and radiate at the same level of the vibrational field of the universe, which means you're more in tune with all things, because the field runs through all things. So therefore you become more metaphysical and more intuitive. Okay. Case in point number 2, there's another thing that happened. There's a guy by the name of Paul Sherrick, I believe is his last name. He's another administrator of the crank-ups. You can get a consult from him, and he actually is on the spiritualfoundation.com. I was cruising through the internet, not really looking for anything, and you know, the suggested videos come up. Oh, okay, cool. There was a guy who was associated with Jay. Okay, I'll listen to it. And I had known of Paul before, and I just wanted to listen to it. Listen to it and hear it. So I listened to it for a couple of minutes here or there. Now again, I'm telling myself to go look at this video. I didn't go out and look for Paul Sherrick's video. Just showed up in the suggestions. I felt the need to go look at it. 5 or 10 minutes into the video, Paul says that one of his animals who's in the video, there's a couple of dogs, one of the dogs' name is Daisy. Okay. I have an animal, I have a cat named Daisy. And these synergies, these non-coincidental things start to happen more frequently all the time. Now, I could talk for another 10 minutes about other things that have happened, but I think you guys understand the point. You become more of yourself, your brain starts to function better, and therefore you become more in tune with the field, the force that runs through everything and all things in the universe. Therefore you're more complete, therefore you're more collected, and therefore you are more of everything. That's the only way that I can put it. You're more of everything. Everything that's positive, everything that's good, you're more of it. You can start feeling everything around. Everything. I mean, things that are down the block, things that are a few miles away, things that are in different countries. It's phenomenal. It really is. And again, I think it was non-coincidental that Jay made this comment, so I was able to make another video about it, because if you have the time, go and check it out. I highly advise it. If you're just being introduced to this material, grab Jay's books, check them out. They're fascinating. What a wild ride and explanation for the beginning, foundation of creation, and all that it was, is, and will be. It's fantastic. Anyhow, okay, I've talked enough. And time, 1:23 p.m. Got a lot of numbers. 1/15/2017. Thanks, guys.